Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Grinnell Tigers and the Washington Demons in semifinal Class AA boys basketball action. We're here today for Thomas Tire on the Goodyear corner of 4th and West in Grinnell. Home Appliance Service Center in Grinnell. Malcolm Stone Company. Your area Pioneer Seed Sales representatives George Axmere of Malcolm and Eugene Lang of Grinnell. Dave Standard at 6th and West in Grinnell and the Quick Shop in Grinnell. Your locally owned neighborhood Quick Shop. The Final Four. My golly, we haven't gotten there very many times.
Hey, the Final Four, Jerry, that's right up where the air is rare, and it feels good as the Grinnell Tigers match up against an old friend, Washington, Iowa, on this particular one. For the Grinnell Tigers, hey, we're above 500 in history. We got there with the big win the other night over Wapsie Valley. So on the 7 trips to state, Grinnell is now 8-7, and we got something to battle for. Well, they went in 1935 and took second place. 1951 and 1954, Coach John Megson. In 1965, well, it was Bert Adams, and the Tigers got 4th after beating East Waterloo, losing to St. Mary's Clinton and Keokuk. Then in 1977, Phil Schlachtenhofen took him into the tournament AAA. In 1978, it was Coach Denny Henson, starring Doug Kinsinger, who brought Grinnell to town and came home with the second prize medal. You still got a chance at some hardware, Jerry. Win or lose in this one, but of course we want the gold one.
Oh, sure. This is the important game, too. You get past this one, and you get into a big television finale on Saturday night. The loser will be playing in consolation Saturday noon. Cuts and Curls Beauty Salon on 5th Avenue in Grinnell. Arns Lawn, Feed, and Seed Center of Grinnell. See them for your spring planting and fertilizer needs. Grinnell Poweshiek County Ambulance, call 236-4143. Kaizen Electric in Grinnell. On Thanks Body and Fender in Grinnell, and Best Western Motel Grinnell, located 3 miles south of Grinnell at the junction of I-80 and Highway 146.
When you match them up with Washington and Grinnell, well, Washington is not only number 1 rated by the Des Moines Register and undefeated 23-0, they were seeded number 1 in this tournament. They knocked off Iowa Falls convincingly, 66-42. Grinnell came in as Cinderella. Nobody took them for real, and they took Wapsie Valley to the sideline as the Tigers beat Wapsie Valley, an unbeaten ball club, 54-53. Tigers are now 13-9, never rated during the season, but seeded in this tournament number 4. And of course, the winner of this one in the semifinal goes against either old friend Denison, the team that beat us in the state tournament in 1978.
Wait a minute, old friend. Now, come on.
Hey, I'm getting mellow.
I've still got a few wounds left from that one.
I still got a hate file full of letters, too. Maquoketa Valley of Delhi would be the other one.
All righty, Vosburg Building Center of Grinnell. Grinnell Firestone, see their special on 4-wheel alignments. Gary Liebeck, your Kansas City Life agent in Grinnell. Smith Funeral Home in Grinnell. Tharp Pharmacy on Broad Street in Grinnell, and Wenco Incorporated of Grinnell, making our broadcast possible here this morning. Excitement. Grinnell fans are on hand, and we see the pep band once again playing well. The fans standing up and cheering, and it's a countdown period, getting ready for tip-up.
No question that Grinnell has brought the largest 2A crowds to town. Tonight it looks particularly big because Washington and Grinnell both have the same school colors of orange and black. Grinnell's on the south side of the auditorium. The basketball team will be heading west. That's what Horace Greeley and J.B. Grinnell decided a long time ago. Go west, young man. And Washington with their super size. The equalizer, Jerry, you'd like to say it'll be Grinnell's speed against Washington's size, but Washington can motor also. Going to be Grinnell's spirit, I think, against Washington's size.
Up there in the stands, kids with T-shirts that says, "You gotta wanna," all across there for the Tigers.
That's their motto, huh?
Now they're turning around, and they're going to spell another word as they come around. And I tell you what, we'll let them spell it out while we pause for this word for one of those Grinnell Tiger Boosters.
Crush the Demons.
Well, we've seen them spell it out on their backs now. It says "Crush the Demons" up there. And I was worried for a second.
That ought to make the Ministerial Association happy when you crush demons, hadn't it?
that would be, all right. And that's what the Tiger fans are here for in this one. Well, we got some starting lineups to look at. How about that tournament trail? How did we get the Tigers here? How did we get the kids from Washington here?
All right, Grinnell went into the district after losing their last regular season ball game to a good Pella club, 79-43. Tigers beat Carlisle 57-54. Then took the rubber match from South Tama by 47-36. Out to Ankeny for Sub-State, waltzed over Waukee 72-50. And in the opening round of the state tournament here in Des Moines, beat Wapsie Valley 54-53. That was follows the Tiger tournament trail. You're 13-9 for momentum. You've now got a total of 4 consecutive wins. That's the bare minimum to be here. For Washington, they got lots of consecutive wins. 23 in a row, as a matter of fact. But at least their tournament trail, they took out Cardinal of Eldon in the district, beat Mount Pleasant in the district. Then in sub-state, they beat a good Pella Christian team, 64-59, and smothered Iowa Falls in their opening round.
All right. Hey, some of the Tigers and some of the Demons coming into this one have a chance to move up as far as scoring and rebounds go. We'll look at that after we pause for another word from one of those Tiger boosters. Well, Frosty, we've got the scoring derby and the rebounding derby going on, and we've got some Tigers and some Demons in a position to maybe advance because they get 2 more ball games.
Right, as far as scoring is concerned, a kid named Terry Kehoe from Maquoketa Valley Delhi is the leader with 22, but a name you're going to hear a lot of tonight, Steve Getkinger, I think the best AA guard in the tournament from Washington so far, with 18. Chris Coleman of Denison had 18. Dave Moritz of Esterville with 16, and Brad Harris of Grinnell with 16, and the last 5 of those were so important in the Wapsie Valley ball game. Kevin Dixon of Grinnell, also with 14, is amongst the top 10 scorers in the tournament. On the boards, David Vensky of Washington. This is a good athlete. He leads that with 16. Kurt Denker of Denison is second with 13. Terry Kehoe, Maquoketa Valley with 12. Joe Miller of Grinnell with 11. Todd Frederick of Washington with 11. So Big Joe and Axmere have got a night cut out for them on the boards.
All right, well, let's take a look at those starting lineups for these 2 ball clubs. We'll be back to do that after another word from a Grinnell Tiger booster. All right, let's take a look at the lineups. First of all, for the Washington Demons, and we look here for Washington at the guards, Steve Genkinger. He's 6 foot, a senior, averaging 11 points per ball game. The other guard is Todd Frederick, 6'6". That's a guard, that's right. He's a junior, averaging 15 points per game. Another center will be Tim Peterson. He's 6'6", a senior, averaging 16 points a game. And the forwards will be David Vensky, 6'7", a senior, averaging 16 points, and Rich Russell, 6'2", he's a senior, averaging 5 points a game. And there, but for a move, would have been a member of the Grinnell Tiger basketball team. Rich Russell was in Grinnell through his 7th grade and moved away just before 8th grade. His dad was Bill Russell, who ran the penny store.
And a nice family, and we could have used an athlete like that. They also moved in another mighty important kid on that ball club, Jerry, Tim Peterson, who's the big guy at 6'6", that was the All-State football player.
All right, let's take a look at those Grinnell Tigers now. Starting for the Tigers at the guard will be Brad Harris. Brad is 5'9", a senior, averaging 10.76 points per game. Lynn Mergen, the guard. He's 6'1", a senior, averaging 7.10 points per game. The center, Big John Axmere, 6'5", a senior, averaging 9 points per contest. The forwards, Kevin Dixon. He's 6'2", a senior, averaging 14.24 points per game. And Joe Miller, Jumpin' Joe, he's 6'4", a senior, averaging 10.46 points per contest. And of course, off the bench, we'll probably see Mark Brown and also Mark Liebeck, the 2 Marks coming in to help out and give a little rest for the Tigers in this one.
On the official scoring table tonight, it's like a home game. Jerry Hagan and Jack Markham are going to be on the book and the clock.
Boy, the last time that they were on the book and the clock, that it was good for the Tigers. The Tigers came up with a victory over Wapsie Valley. Saw Jack Markham after that game. He said that was the hardest thing I ever had to do, was not to try to cheer for the Tigers. Well, we'll be back to cheer the Tigers on to a victory. We're getting ready for the tip-up. That comes your way after this word from a Tiger booster. Well, both teams are out onto the court. We're ready for basketball action here this morning. Joe Miller is going to be in there jumping against David Vensky.
Credit Jack Williams and the Grinnell Pep Band for 2 good jobs on the national anthem, and the Grinnell crowd really participating in that.
All right, here we go. Ball game underway. Tip is up. Miller gets the tip. Here come the Tigers. Dixon dumps it back to Harris, and here comes Brad Harris into the forward court.
Heading west.
Brad Harris with the ball, brings it down the lane. Going to bring it back out. Lynn Mergen has it now. Tigers, let's see how patient they can be. Joe Miller with the ball, looks inside, nothing there. Back out front to Harris. Take it over to Axmere, down to Mergen. Mergen on the baseline, nothing there, and we'll bring it back out. The ball's tipped away, it'll go out of bounds. Quick hands in there by Todd Frederick.
And you just saw the speed of a kid that was a good quarterback in high school, Jerry. He's got the quick to play college basketball along with the size.
6'6" and long arms there, knocked it out of bounds. Lynn Mergen, top of the circle. take it over. Brad Harris down to Joe Miller. Miller looks inside. Now a lob cross court over to Dixon. Dixon's got the screen, takes it up and bounces high, won't go. Tip up, and Axmeer had it tipped over his head. Oh, he was in there battling with David Vensky, and it'll be, I think Axmeer touched it last.
A tribute to this game, Jerry, is the fact that Chuck Britton of Waverly and Randy Bruns of Waverly are the referees. They picked them yesterday to work Des Moines East and Hoover.
Out front with the ball, up into the front court. Take it down, jumper, baseline, Frederick up, air ball won't go, went out of bounds off the hand of Tim Peterson. It'll be Tigers ball.
Boy, referee Randy Bruns had a lot of Grinnellians helping him vote on that decision.
That's right down there with the cheerleaders.
He was practically in the zoo, wasn't he?
That's for sure.
I thought he was a zebra in the Grinnell Zoo there with that shirt on.
Brad Harris across the timeline. We've got a foul. That'll be whistled on Rich Russell, and that'll be the first foul on Washington. Rich, the former Grinnellian, in there. Draws the first blood, and it'll be Tigers ball on the near side. Kevin Dixon will play it in. No score yet in your ball game. 7:02 on the clock.
Jerry, since leaving Grinnell, he's a member of the National Honor Society of Washington High School.
Take it over far side of Bergen, outside that three-point line. Brad Harris now looks inside.
We're a minute, 10 seconds, no score.
Harris takes it all the way, scores, got the layup. Little guy drives the baseline.
Hey, he had the big points down the stretch against Wapsie Valley. Away, Brad.
2-0 to score. Tigers with a lead. Here comes the Demons from Washington out on the point. Take it over on the far side. Frederick has it. We've got a foul inside on Joe Miller. A little holding.
Yep.
Well, there's the first foul on the Tigers, so the team fouls even up at one apiece.
I guess we have to be fair. If we mentioned that Rich Russell moved out, we have to mention that Joe Miller moved in.
That's right. Over to toss it in on the far side, Rich Russell. Russell brings it in. Jenkinger pops it up, won't go. Rebound back up and in. Oh, there's the height for you, David Vensky.
College size, 6'6", 6'6", 6'6" along. They are bigger than any of the AAA teams in the tournament.
2-2 the score. Here come the Tigers into the front court of play. Mergen has it at the free throw line. Stops, pops, shoots, scores. That's it. 4-2.
That's where it'll have to come from tonight if it's going to happen.
4-2. Long pass down. Russell with the ball. Back out comes to Jenkinger. Steve Jenkinger inside to the big guy. He'll put it up, and Joe Miller gets his second foul.
Boy, you need to have Joe Miller and Axmeer in there as long as you possibly can in this ball game.
That's right. Miller, I thought he went straight in the air, but apparently not straight enough.
Second team foul.
That was in the act of shooting, so David Vensky will go up. The 6'7" forward will have a chance at that free throw line.
That kid is a 3.9 student.
Vensky has not shot before at the free throw line, and it's good.
He was awarded most valuable player in the Southeast 7 Conference this year in basketball.
4-3 the score now.
He'll be honored on television as an academic all-stater at this tournament.
All right. Those are hard to come by.
You bet.
4-4 is the score. As the second free throw is down, and we're at the 6-minute mark, and the Tigers have the ball in the front court. Joe Miller back out to Lynn Mergen. Mergen, top of the circle now, takes a look now, goes into paint, dumps it back to Brad Harris. Harris over to Dixon.
I like Steve Kriegel's game plan.
Dixon tries to lob in, nothing there. Couldn't get it over the outstretched hands of Tim Peterson, and quickly down court, Jenkinger off. Layup won't go for Todd Frederick, and the Tigers come away with a rebound.
As I mentioned, I like the patience, I like the discipline that Steve is doing. He's trying to work for that good shot, Jerry. He knows he's not going to get many rebounds. And win or lose, I like the game plan.
That's right. 4-4 is the score. Just got to be careful on your lobs and passes now. That's a lot of height and a lot of arms in the passing lanes. Bring it over to Dixon. Dixon on the wing. Nothing there. Mergen will take it out between the circles. Now to Miller. Miller goes inside Axmeer. Nothing there. Now goes and puts it up, and it's partially blocked in there. That was big David Vensky. Got the block, and Axmeer's going to have trouble trying to go up and over that tonight. Bring it down near side of Russell. Russell lobs in now. Turnaround shot. We'll have a foul on Axmeer.
Yep.
Bucket will count. And that was Tim Peterson that went up over Axmeer.
And that shot will be there to Tim Peterson all night long. He's just that big.
6-4 and a chance to make it 7-4 as Peterson will go up to the free throw line.
Your team fouls go 3 against Grinnell, 1 against Washington.
5-minute mark here in your first quarter of play. Timeout on the floor. Let's call time in for this word for one of those Tiger boosters. Free throw is up and no good. It won't go. And the Tigers pull down the rebound, and quickly Lynn Mergen will bring it into the front court of play. 6-4 the score. Mergen takes it in the paint off the glass. No, won't go. Rebound fought for in there. The height pulled it out of there. That was Vensky that brought it down. Jenkinger will bring it into front court. A lob underneath all alone. Nobody got back to guard Tim Peterson, and the Tigers want to call timeout.
A good timeout.
8-4 is the score. The Tigers have let this one kind of get away quickly, you can't allow Washington to do that on you. There's 4:37 to go. Let's call time in for another word from one of those Tiger boosters. 4:37 to go. Tigers have talked it over.
Jerry, one thing's even. We're Grinnell Newburgh, and they're Washington Brighton. And as far as who's the biggest school in the 2A tournament this year, Grinnell by a total of 2 students.
All right.
We have 431, Washington 429.
Brad Harris brings the ball into front court, dumps it back to Joe Miller, now back out front to Mergen. 8-4 the score. Tigers need to make sure they get a bucket every time down the court. Miller back out front to Mergen. Mergen looking as Axmere goes through the lane, nothing there. Now over to Dixon. Dixon back out to Mergen.
This isn't Grinnell's real style. This is just an invention out of necessity. This is the only way you can play this ball club.
Brad Harris takes it down to Joe Miller, out past the three-point line, out to Mergen.
And you can't play this very long if you get very far behind.
That's right. You'll have to run with them.
They want to run and gun. We've got to walk and stalk.
Mergen puts it into lane off the glass. No! Axmere went through his hands and it came down. Here comes the Demons. Up in the front court, Jenkinger with the ball, dumps it over. Looking inside, nothing there for Todd Frederick. Frederick dumps it off to Russell, traveled.
Jerry, they're not only a big ball club, but have you ever seen more mature-looking kids at 18 years old?
They really do. A good-looking ball club.
They look like 20-year-olds more than, but if we check the book, they're 17, 18 years old.
Brad Harris talking with Lynn Mergen as they bring it up across the timeline. 8-4 the score. Here comes Brad Harris with the ball.
Yep.
We're going to have an offensive foul on Brad Harris.
Had the elbow out.
3:32 on the clock, and it'll be Washington's ball on the near side. Cheerleaders working hard here for the Tigers. Russell will toss it in on the near side. 4 fouls on Grinnell already, only 1 on Washington.
You're wondering if they're a good free-throwing team. No, they shoot 62%. Grinnell's the best in the tournament, 71%.
Jenkinger penetrates, puts it up, and scores in the lane. Nobody was there to challenge him, and it's 10-4.
Got to score on this possession, guys.
Tigers into front court. Here comes Harris. Harris gets it over. Miller to Mergen. Down to Dixon. Dixon going to try and penetrate. Puts it up. Denied in there. Ball's batted out of there, and Todd Frederick comes out. If you're going to go against the big guys, and John Axmere trying to come up court, had Frederick cut in front of him, and there's a second foul on Axmere.
Boy, now you got 5 team fouls on Grinnell, 1 on Washington, Jerry, and that means that they're going to be going to the line for the next 11 minutes and 3 seconds of the first half.
Right now, Mark Liebeck checks in.
Now Grinnell has to probably play more of a delay game than ever, because now you've got to burn time off until you get Axmere and Miller out of foul trouble.
Back at the free throw line, Todd Frederick.
We're talking about size. What do we give up when we trade Liebeck for Axmere?
Well, not very much, about 3 inches, as Axmere is in there at 6'5", and Liebeck is in at 6'1", so maybe 4 inches.
4 inches can be a bundle when he's your biggest man.
Second shot is up. It's good also, so you got a 12-4 ball game. Liebeck will bring the ball into front court of play, crossing the timeline. Over to Miller and throws it behind him and out of bounds.
Turnover.
Liebeck had a guard right beside him, in fact 2 guards, and went to try and throw to a forward clear cross court.
Wasn't expecting the ball. Brad Harris patting him on the wallet down there, trying to pump him up a little bit.
12-4 the score with 2:55 on the clock. Jenkinger comes near side to Russell. Russell back out front to Frederick. Frederick at the free throw line, near side. They go underneath, turn around, jumpers up and good, and Tim Peterson has the bucket.
Jerry, they can shoot it as a team for the year. They're 52% from the field.
10-point lead, 14-4.
Grinnell's 46%, which is good also.
Bounce it out. Brad Harris, near side to Mergen. Mergen down to Dixon. Dixon looking inside, nothing there. Mergen won't take the 18-footer. Now we'll start it again. Dixon traveled.
Yep.
Too many steps.
Can't help this outfit, kids. You know, they're tough enough. Don't help them. 2 turnovers last time down.
2:22 to go in your first quarter of play. 14-4 the score. Jenkinger on the point. Going to take it to the free throw line. Over to Frederick. Frederick traveled.
Jerry, what's one more big problem now? About 1 more basket, and you have to leave your game plan, because you can't afford to sit down there and wait for good shots when you're down by 10, because they'll just sit back and zone and let you.
That's right.
They'll say a W is a W.
2:11 on the clock. Brad Harris going to bring it down, and we've got a foul called on Jenkinger as Liebeck set the pick, and Harris ran him into it.
Washington scored 17 points in their first quarter, beating Iowa Falls 66-42. They scored 17 in the first frame.
Well, right now they have 14, and Kevin Dixon will toss it in
Tiger-
underneath the Tiger bucket.
Tigers got 16 in the opening quarter against Wapsie Valley and had the Valians to 6.
Here's Dixon, a shot.
Needed.
Shot is good,
Foul.
and the foul on Frederick, and chance for a three-point play.
Coach Dave Tremble, who used to coach 5 years at Middle Amana in KJR Country, just didn't really agree with that one all that much.
Well, you're going to see that happen once in a while. A lot of times those big guys will get the rejection. The rest of the time, I think you have to just toss it up if you got big guys, because some of the time they're going to draw the foul. It's hard to miss a big guy amongst the little people.
Kevin's free throw good, Jerry. He was the quarterback on a co-conference championship football team this year.
14-7 the score, a minute 57 on the clock. Jen Kinger out front on the point. Looking inside, nothing there, guarded by Harris. Near side it comes to Frederick. Back out, Russell, Jen Kinger. Jen Kinger takes a look inside, nothing, over to Russell. Lay lob inside. Turnaround shot is up and no good. Dixon pulls down the rebound. Miller hit the deck pretty hard, but they didn't whistle. Vensky on the foul.
Hey, we traded him 3 for none that time. I like those trades.
Yep, here comes Harris. Harris out front, takes it over to Mergen. Mergen down to Dixon. Dixon back out to Mergen. Tigers got to work it around. Mergen shoots it up, comes off the rim. No, knocked around, and Frederick will bring it up into the front court of play. The big guy knocked away by Mergen.
Nice work
Tigers
by Mergen.
going for it. Let's see who has it. It looks like a kickball. Russell brings it
Foul
down.
on Harris.
And we've got a foul on Brad Harris out front.
Yep. Boy, those big guys move around quickly, though.
Well, they sure do. I thought we were in a soccer match for a little bit.
Agility, body control for their size. They've got good quick for big.
We're going to send, I think, Russell up to the free throw line now.
We're not bringing much size in either.
Mark Brown is coming in for Mergen. Mark Brown will have some quickness, though.
At 5'6", he is the shortest man in the 2A field.
He could probably outrun the 2A field. He's a cross-country kid. Free throw time for Russell. It's up. It's good. Well, that took a little while to drop through, but did. 15-7 the score now. A minute 12 on the clock. Tigers let a bunch get away from them. You can crawl back into this slow but sure.
Russell had made that, you mentioned earlier, moved away from Grinnell. He was second team all-conference in football as well as second team in basketball.
Harris with the ball out front now. 16-7 the score. Brad Harris out front to Mark Brown. Brown back out to Harris. Harris, free throw line, knocks it over. Brown scoops it up, almost stolen by Russell. Down to Dixon. Dixon on the wing. Looks inside the big people, now takes it back out to Harris.
49 seconds in the first frame.
Brad Harris into the paint, puts it up, and he'll draw the foul off of Tim Peterson, I believe. Yes, it is. The big guy raises his hand, and that'll be the 4th team foul now on Washington. And the Tigers are pretty close to having a whole quarter themselves at that free throw line, because the next foul, they'll be up there shooting the bonus. Now, they're up there right now because Harris is fouled in the act of shooting. He'll get 2 shots for his efforts there.
He was Grinnell's high scorer with 16 against Wapsie Valley.
Free throw is up, it won't go.
I like this guy. His mom and dad, Betty and Danny Harris, of course, farmers. He's very active in 4-H. I think the old Brad's been at the 4-H fair for quite a few years, hasn't he, Jerry?
Yes, he has.
Plays second base on the baseball team. Defensive back in football.
Shot is up. This one will go. It's 16-8, an 8-point lead for Washington with 47 seconds to go. Jen Kinger with the ball in the backcourt. Tigers trying to put some pressure on. Jen Kinger lobs it into the forward court now up to Vensky.
Washington's team is staying at the Playboy Club, Sheraton Hotel.
Hey, that's all right. Maybe I go visit them.
They had a good practice yesterday. They said down at Simpson College in Indianola.
With the ball out front, Frederick, and it looks like Washington going to let the air out of the ball and go for a last shot with 24 seconds on the board. Bounce it out to Frederick. Frederick takes it over on the far side to Peterson. Frederick. I wonder if he's ever been to Hollywood. Take it back out front to Russell. Rich Russell down into the corner it goes. Vensky along the baseline. Shot is up, won't go. Rebound down, 2 seconds, 1 second. There's your quarter. And the score at the end of the first quarter of play is Washington 16, Grinnell 8. Let's take a break. We'll be back in the second quarter after this word from one of those Grinnell Tiger boosters. 16-8 the score. We're getting ready with the second quarter, and it'll be Washington's Demons to play it in. It's him to Jen Kinger. Take it over to Russell. Back out between the circles to Jen Kinger now.
This is still their starting 5, Jerry. I don't think they've made a change.
Lob it inside. Turnaround shot is up, and it won't go in there by Peterson, but the follow-up shot, no, won't go. Axmere has the rebound.
Right.
Well, that's what you got to hope for, is that all of them don't go through.
Got to want them to have a poor shooting night. They're a 50% ball club.
Here comes Harris. Bounce it down to Dixon.
Starting fives both ways.
Dixon will put it up from 18. Good. Kevin Dixon makes it a 16-10 ball game.
That gives us the privilege of going back to our game plan. 6 points, and when you got the three-point shot is nothing we can stay with the slowdown.
Jen Kinger over to Russell. Russell back out front to Frederick. Frederick at the free throw line. Take it over to Jen Kinger down towards the baseline. Nothing there. Ball knocked away, and we've got a foul on Miller, who is back in there, and that's number 3
that's
on
3.
Jumpin' Joe.
That hurts. You ever noticed in basketball, Jerry, when a game is being played this slow, that when I'm doing it, it's my slow down offense. When you're doing it, it's a stall.
That's right. Coach Steve Kriegel was talking to the officials about some elbows being thrown in there. Was wondering why the elbows weren't being called and why the fouls on the Tigers were.
I'll tell you, Jerry, I worked Steve Kriegel's high school basketball games, and if anybody knows about elbows, there's an expert.
Oh, that guy doesn't have any elbows.
Oh.
Shot is up, and David Vensky hits his first one. Lynn Mergen was there to block him off as soon as the ball was through the hoop.
They misspelled David's name on the handout to the press tonight. I wonder how many broadcasters are doing this game with Jensky in there.
Instead of Vensky.
Right.
18-10, 7 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. Lynn Mergen going to trot it up into the front court for the Tigers. Mark Liebeck has it. Liebeck back out front to Mergen. Mergen on the point, taking a look. Now over to Harris. Brad Harris to Mergen to Liebeck. Liebeck to Mergen. They're going around the perimeter. Mergen not going to take the shot. Now back over to Harris. Harris working on Jen Kinger. Now to Dixon. They go into Liebeck. Liebeck fakes, puts one up. No. Axmeer gets the garbage on the weak side, puts it up and good.
Hey, right man, right place, right time. Right on.
Hey, maybe that's what we ought to do. Not shoot for the basket. Just lob it over to the guy on the weak side.
Yep.
He might be open for a second. It's 18-12. Frederick with the ball on the far side. Back out front to Jen Kinger over on the near side to Russell. A lob goes inside. It was tipped, and Liebeck comes up with a steal. Hey, here's an important bucket for the Tigers. They trail by 6.
You bet. This is where you crawl back into it right now. Steve Kriegel's got a good game plan. This is the only way you can play this team.
Harris down into Dixon. Axmeer turns and fires. No, it won't go. Oh, he had the percentage shot. He had the jump on the big guy. It just wouldn't go through the hole. Jen Kinger all the way. Dumps it over Peterson underneath, and we're going to have a charging foul on Peterson as Axmeer hit the dirt.
Boy, he took a charge. There's a couple pretty big bodies that hit right then, Jerry.
Well, I tell you what, that was a little gutsy for Axmeer. He already has 2 fouls. If it had gone the other way, he'd have been sitting on the bench with 3.
You're talking 210 on Peterson, 230 on Axmeer. Peterson, of course, the first-team All-State football player that's going to play defensive end at UNI.
Once again, the Tigers have the ball, trailing by 6 now. Bring it into front court. Harris, the jumper. Yes, from the right corner. It's 18-14. The Tigers crawling back into this one.
That's the game plan.
5 minutes, 40 seconds to go, and Steve Kriegel says, keep your hands in the air. Jen Kinger, near side to Russell. Russell. Dixon's on him, man on man. Back out front to Jen Kinger. The matchup there is with Harris. Mergen's got Frederick on the far side. It's Axmeer against Peterson. Here goes Jen Kinger. He puts it up and through, and we've got a blocking foul. And that's going to be John Axmeer, who stepped in front trying to draw the charge, and that is number 3. And now we may see the next 5 minutes and 20 seconds, Big John sitting on the bench because Miller and Axmeer both have 3 fouls apiece. There's a timeout on the court. 5 minutes, 20 seconds to go here in your second quarter. Let's call time in for this word from one of those basketball boosters. 5:20 to go. It's free throw time for Jen Kinger. He'll be up at that free throw line.
Jerry, at an earlier age, he was the national free throw champion.
Oh, no.
You know where you do things so many years and under, this kind of like a Elks Club deal?
I'm glad you said that. He missed it.
Yeah, I put the kiss on him, didn't I?
All right. Mark Brown is in there now, and the Tigers going to go with a little smaller lineup with Axmeer out of there. You got Brown, Harris, Liebeck, Dixon, and Mergen in the lineup. And so that front line will be Dixon, Mergen, and Liebeck. Bounce it over on the far side. Dixon has it. Dixon back out front. Now to Harris, to Brown. Brown along to Liebeck, back out to Brown.
You know,
here's Dixon, goes into traffic, and somebody got an arm on him there.
Russell.
We've got a foul on Russell.
You know, I like what Grinnell's doing for a game plan. It's not absolutely, it's not great picturesque basketball, Jerry, but it's the smart thing to do. But I've also got to say that I like the way Washington is just sitting back, letting them do it, knowing they've got the lead, they've got them in foul trouble. They're not getting anxious. And, there's kids from Washington that would like to be making All-State and All-Tournament. They're letting Grinnell do the thing.
Well, you can't do it. You can't get all those points in this kind of a ball game.
Right.
That's for sure. And the free throw is up by Dixon. It is good. Kevin Dixon on the season is a good free thrower.
Kevin had the great game against Waukee. Kevin also had a fine first half against Wapsie Valley in this tournament.
75.38%. Second free throw won't go, and it's 20-15, a 5-pointer. 4:50 to go in your ball game.
If there's a jump ball, fortunately, we won't have to jump with these monsters. If the possession arrow is Grinnell's.
Jen Kinger scraped off his man, a little give and go, cut in, and he was all alone for the layup. 22-15.
That was the kind you see at a clinic.
That's right. 4:35 to go, and here comes Mark Brown. Brown talking to his team. Out front, takes it over to Dixon. Dixon out front, guarded by Jen Kinger. Dixon's going to take the jumper. Yes! Hits it. And Steve Kriegel started to call timeout, and now he's standing up talking to his kids. He better sit down and talk to his kids. It's 22-17. From the corner, answering back, Frederick, up and good. 24-17.
They'd love to get in that transition game, but Grinnell wants timeout.
There's 4 minutes and 7 seconds to go in your first half of play. Let's call time in for this word from one of those Tiger Boosters. 4:07 to go here in your second quarter. 24-17 the score. Tigers have the ball in the backcourt, and we'll bring it up, and let's see what they talked over in their timeout.
Jerry, both of these teams will be on television on Saturday. The champions, steal away, Washington.
Washington now putting on the pressure. Fire over, and Russell traveled.
It was too easy. That's why.
That's right.
He stopped to think about it. Instinct didn't just do it. The winner of the game, of course, plays for the state championship Saturday night at 6:30 on commercial television. The loser, Saturday noon, consolation on our area, Channel 11, statewide on Iowa Public.
Harris to Brown now. High post to Dixon. Dixon back to Brown in the corner. Left side, doesn't take the 19-footer. Brings it out front over to Harris. Harris the 18-footer. It's off the rim and won't go. Ball is tipped and Frederick has it. And here come the Demons.
You know, Frederick flat-footed, held that ball up higher than Grinnell was jumping.
Yes, he did. Out front, Jen Kinger goes back door, up an easy lay-in for Vensky. Little lob and a little lay-in.
Alley-oop.
Yep, 26-17. Back to 9 points. The Tigers had cut it down to 5. It was 20-15. They've outscored the Tigers 6-2 here.
Possession goes to Washington.
Jump ball as Dixon had to get away from him. It'll be Tigers ball. But now that means the light goes the other way the next time. So the Tigers better
not necessarily. Jack Markham and Jerry Hagan are running the clock and the board over there, so not necessarily. Whoop. They changed it.
Well, out front, it's Mark Brown. Brownie takes a look. Now goes down to Liebeck.
Just under 3 minutes.
Liebeck back out to Brown. 3-point range. Nothing there. Back to Liebeck on the near side. High post to Dixon. Dixon back to Liebeck to Brown. Brown going to dribble far side to Harris.
You know, Washington's probably getting a lot of points right now for the sportsmanship award, Jerry, because their crowd is not into that boring song that some crowds sing in a slow-down game.
Mark Brown into traffic, into trouble, brings it back out to Mergen.
Mark made a nice move to get out of there.
Yes, he did.
We're at 2.5 minutes. Grinnell's held the ball now for 40 seconds.
Brown takes it over. Harris down to Liebeck. Liebeck looking for some help. Bounces to Dixon. Dixon takes it to the bucket. Scores.
That's what they need.
Sure,
Patience.
nice move there. 26-19. Back down to a 7-pointer. Tigers putting full court pressure on. Here's Frederick into front court. Down to Peterson. Lobs in. Layup. No, won't go. And the Tigers get the rebound.
Boy, they play above the rim, though, don't they?
Brown brings it to Mergen. Back to Harris. And here come the Tigers. They do have a chance now to trim it down to 5 once again.
Grinnell's just got to get cool, calm, and collected here.
Harris over to Brown. Brown going to take the jumper. No, it's off the heel. And Jen Kinger brings it down. And Coach Kriegel says, let's don't shoot any of those 17, 18-footers, guys. And we've got traveling going to be called on the big guy, Peterson.
First reserve of the day comes in for Washington.
Into that lineup is Scott Coleman. Going out to get a rest is Tim Peterson.
This could indicate they're going to start to do a little bit of chasing, however, when they drop down in size on that one.
26-19 the score, minute 37 to go.
100 seconds.
Harris, Liebeck, Brown. Down to Liebeck in the corner. Back out to Brown. Brown tries to force it through, and it was kicked in there. And you can't force it through the trees. There's too many arms and branches in there.
Grinnell could play down for one shot, Jerry. Say that they'd like to go in 5 down at halftime against the number 1 team in the state this way.
Brad Harris out past that 3-point line. Gonna bring it near side to Brown. Brown takes it back over. Now dribbles in and just hands the ball off to Coleman. Got out of control. Here's the lead pass to Russell. Russell puts it off the glass and in.
Former Grinnellian.
Yep. coming back to hunt us, 28-19.
I just gave him my vote for the Benedict Arnold Award.
How many of those could we list? We could list an all-state team of kids who have moved away from Grinnell.
Yep. Hey, let's get that last bucket of the half, guys.
28-19.
Some kind of momentum to go in and build on.
50 seconds left. Tigers out front. They're going to ask the Washington team to come out and get them here pretty soon.
8 fouls on Grinnell, 6 on Washington in the first half. 38 seconds.
Brown moves down, bounces out to Harris. Harris over to Brown. Mark Brown going to dribble back out to Harris. Harris penetrates, takes it up, layup good. Hey, that's the way we got to do her. 28-21, 7-pointer with 20 seconds on the clock.
Now don't foul somebody, make him work for it.
16 seconds over to Jen Kinger. Going to work for one shot here with 12 seconds on the board. 10 seconds. It's 28-21. Frederick has the ball out front. Frederick takes it over. Big guy is Vensky. You go down. Jen Kinger. Shot is up. Won't go. Ball tipped around. Tigers kept them from scoring. Well, that's a small victory there as Washington leads it here at halftime. 28-21. Tigers heading for the locker room to get some final instructions. We'll be back to look at the scoring here in the first half of play after this word from a Tiger booster. Well, it's halftime, and let's take a look at the scoring. Brian, who's done what to who here in the first half of play?
Okay, Washington has led it the entire ball game thus far in this contest, Jerry. Let's take a look first of all at the scoring for Washington. They are led very balanced scoring. 8 points by David Vensky leads the way. Then you've got 6 points both for Tim Peterson and Steve Genniker. 4 points apiece for Rich Russell and Todd Frederick. All 5 starters have scored. For the Grinnell Tigers, the only starter that hasn't scored has been Joe Miller. He has 3 fouls, likewise with John Axmere. 10 points by Kevin Dixon leads the way, 7 by Brad Harris, and then 2 apiece for Lynn Mergen, and Big John Axmere also has a bucket with 3 fouls.
Our first half brought to you by Thomas Tire on the Goodyear corner at 4th and West in Grinnell. Home Appliance Service Center in Grinnell. Malcolm Stone Company. Your area Pioneer Seed Sales representatives, George Axmere of Malcolm and Eugene Lang of Grinnell. Dave Standard at 6th and West in Grinnell. The Quick Shop in Grinnell, your locally owned neighborhood Quick Shop. End of the first quarter, Washington led it 16-8, an 8-point lead. Here it is, 7 points at halftime, 28-21. Cuts and Curls Beauty Salon on 5th Avenue in Grinnell. Arns Lawn, Feed, and Seed Center of Grinnell. See them for your spring planting and fertilizer needs. Grinnell Powashik County Ambulance, 236-4143, the number to call. And Kaizen Electric in Grinnell, all making our broadcast possible. Well, halftime always means news time here. We're going to send you back to our studios for 5 minutes of the latest news. This is KGRN 1410 in Grinnell, Iowa. Welcome back to the second half of basketball action. We've got the Grinnell Tigers and the Washington Demons locked in battle here. Washington leads at 28-21. Standing by to bring us the second half of action on Thanks Body and Fender in Grinnell. Best Western Motel Grinnell, located 3 miles south of Grinnell at the junction of I-80 and 146. Mossberg Building Center of Grinnell. Grinnell Firestone. See their special on 4-wheel alignments. Gary Liebeck, your Kansas City Life agent in Grinnell. Smith's Funeral Home in Grinnell. Tharp Pharmacy on Broad Street in Grinnell, and Wenco Incorporated of Grinnell. Well, it's a halftime. We're getting ready for the second half tip-up. 28-21, Washington leading Grinnell, and we'll have the second half after we pause for this word from another Tiger booster. All set to go. Washington will play it in.
All right, Jerry, first half, Grinnell shot 45%, 9 out of 20. Washington, 10 out of only 19, 52%. As far as turnovers were concerned, Washington had 5, Grinnell had 2, so the Tiger game plan, not bad in that account.
Demons will play it in to start our second half out front. Jen Kinger takes it over along the baseline. They go looking for the high post. Jen Kinger takes it back out of the paint. Jen Kinger, the shot from the right side. It's up and in and no. And Joe Miller hauls down the rebound.
Jumpin' Joe's got to do a lot of that this half. Steve Kriegel's game plan had the Tigers in it by 7 at halftime. I think that's not bad.
No, it isn't. This is an awesome ball club. Mergen takes it out to Dixon. Dixon out front at the free throw line. Over to Harris. Harris going to shoot the one out. No good. Long rebound. Comes off to Russell.
See, those are the kind of bounces we can't stand. I think the basketball gods, knowing we're playing Demons, would help.
Yes. Into the paint. Frederick goes along the baseline. Shot is up. 2-bouncer won't go. Axmere has the rebound for the Tigers.
Well, nobody scored in the first minute of the first half, and nobody scored in the first minute of the second half.
Right now, 28-21. We're at the 7-minute mark. Third quarter. Bounce it in, Axmere turns and fires. Denied in there, knocked out of bounds with David Yenski. Or is it Vinsky? I think it's Vinsky.
John Axmere. You know, every time I hear that song, Big John, I think of him.
That's right. Dixon to Miller to Harris. Back to Dixon along the baseline. Jumpers up. Whoa! Got a little tentative on that. We've got a foul on Dixon following the ball. He didn't get a hold of it in time. It might have been a jump ball. As it is, it was a foul coming up over the back.
Kevin had a little personal frustration, I think, there, too. When the ball gets rejected at you, you kind of want it right back. I'll show you, you know, and ref was standing right there.
28-21 with 6:50 on the clock. Tigers putting full court pressure on. Jen Kinger takes it over. Almost stolen by Mergen. Gets it over to Russell. Back out Jen Kinger. Jen Kinger bounces it down near side to Frederick.
Grinnell kids doing a good job keeping their arms up on that zone when the ball rotates.
Into heavy traffic. Turnaround jumpers up and good. Can't keep Vinsky out of there too long. He's very mobile.
Yep.
30-21, 9 points.
They're working for the high percentage shot of Washington right now. They know they can pack it back in there.
Mergen with the ball to free throw line. Bounces in. Harris, he'll put it up. No, draws the foul. One of the big guys, he went between two tall redwoods in there, and that was Tim Peterson that drew the foul that time. That's his third. Now,
yeah, I tell you, next time they cast the movie David and Goliath, those two dudes, I think maybe Brad Harris, you know which role he'd get.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's going to the free throw line now. Let's hope he has the role of sharpshooter in this one.
At least they gave David a slingshot, as I remember the story.
Here's Brad, puts it up. Oh, won't go. Brad's had a little trouble at that line. He's 1 for 3 now, I believe.
Yeah, we have to take advantage of every opportunity against this big unbeaten outfit. Number 1 rated, undefeated, number 1 seeded.
Shot is up and good. Well, it's 30-22, an 8-pointer. And let's see, whistle sounds. We're going to let somebody come in. We didn't buzz the horn.
Yep.
Going out of there is Tim Peterson. He's got 3 fouls. So you're going to bring back in Scott Coleman. He saw some action in the first half of play. Coleman pushes it ahead. Jen Kinger into the front court. Frederick back to Jen Kinger, who will set it up between the circles now. On the near side, Russell takes it in. Vinsky, good.
Nothing Grinnell can do about that, Jerry.
No.
You're talking about a front line. Vinsky at 6'7", Peterson at 6'6", Frederick at 6'6".
You just have to deny him the ball. That's
the
it.
3 tallest men in the whole 2A tournament are all on one team.
32-22, 10-pointer. Now this is the biggest lead we've had in the ball game.
There's
Mergen
a big bucket.
Hits us about a 17, 18-footer.
Yep, that was a big one because it got you under 10. When you get past 10, Steve's game plan, hey, he has to think about it then because you start having to really gamble, and that's when the floodgates could break.
Going to bring it in. Frederick going to shoot it up. It won't go, and Mergen fights in there for the rebound.
Well, he's tough.
Yeah, he got a good one there, and here come the Tigers. Trailing by 8, they have a chance to trim it down to 6 now. Here's Harris. Here's a 16-footer. No, off the heel. Ball knocked loose. Jen Kinger has it.
They're wanting to run, aren't they? Look at them go.
Pass it down. Alley-oop into traffic. Shot is up, and it's good by Vinsky once again.
That's why they shoot 52% for the season. Their longest shot is about 4 feet.
Back to 10 points again at the 5-minute mark here in your third quarter. Brad Harris going to take it over. Now to Dixon. Dixon takes a look inside. Nothing there. Back out to Mergen. Mergen. Over to Dixon. He'll put it up. Oh, crawls across the rim and won't go. Tigers on a little cold spell here. Last couple times down the court. And here is Washington with a chance to go over that 10-point mark. Take it to Frederick. Shot is up, in and out. And the rebound to Jumpin' Joe there.
Hey.
Joe Miller pulls it down.
Joe's going for it this half.
4 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. Mark Liebeck getting ready to come into the ball game. Harris down to Mergen. Mergen looks inside. Boy, nothing but gray uniforms there. Bounce pass. Oop. Harris comes up with it. Went off the toe of Dixon. Now it's back to Dixon. Dixon out front. Now to Harris. Takes the 17-footer. In and out. Back in again. Harris pulls it back down again. Back down to 8. 34-26.
Halfway through the third quarter. Down by 10. Or down by 8. That's respectable.
That is. 4 minutes here. Halfway through the third. We've got Russell, Jen Kinger around Coleman. Coleman back out to Jen Kinger. Bounce it over, far side. Jumper is up. Oh, Russell hits one.
You know, when I watch those kids out there from Grinnell or Washington, was it Abraham Lincoln that said all men are created equal?
I don't think so.
He must not have played basketball.
It's over to Dixon. Dixon along the baseline, puts it up. Rejected in there. Axmere has it. He'll put it up and scores.
Hey, good action by John that time.
There it was. 36-28 now. Back to 8 points. Well, if you keep close, who knows what'll happen?
That's right. You got this 3-point rule in Iowa. 4 states in the country play it. And you never know, you might get lucky.
Jen Kinger brings it over near side to Coleman. Coleman back out, Jen Kinger. Take it far side, Russell down along the baseline. Peterson puts it up, doesn't go. Oh, it got out of the hands of Axmere. There's a timeout on the court. 3:11 to go in your third quarter of play. Washington 36, Grinnell 28. Let's call for this word from a Tiger booster.